the cars, the money, the people, the trips, and all those things are fluid, they are frivolous, they are fickle, and they can change. Hey, welcome back to my channel. So it's Melissa here coming at you with another video. So for this video, this is going to be a video that I haven't done in a while. It's a get ready with me, let's talk video. As you read from the title, you see what we're going to be talking about. But first, before we get into that, let's talk about what you can do to help me get to our 1,000 subscribers. So if you have not already, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button. And you definitely hit the notification bell so that you can be among the first to know when I submit a video. Okay, so as you read from the title, this is a get ready with me, but I also wanted to kind of dive into conversation about Tamar. I know I'm a minute late and $1 short, but I just wanted to give this subject time to kind of marinate, to kind of unfold before I jump in with my opinion. My opinion kind of hasn't changed from the very beginning of this, but as details are unfolding, I have some things to say about it. But not only that, I want to move the conversation forward about mental health, but this also, where are we placing our mental health? Okay, so this is going to be really a light look. So what I've got here is my Born This Way. It's concealer actually, but sometimes I use it as a foundation or just as a quick coverage, and that's what we're doing today. So the Tamar issue. So unless you have been living under a rock, so what I'm going to do is just apply a light coating of the concealer in these areas. So unless you've been, so back to the conversation, unless you have been living under a rock for the past week, you know that Tamar was found unresponsive, and it was big news on Sunday, I want to say. And, you know, subsequent information has come out since Sunday about what happened. And so allegedly, Tamar was upset about, first of all, allegedly, this was not her first time attempting suicide. Her boyfriend made the phone call, allegedly. That was her boyfriend. And he said that she is unresponsive and that she had been drinking and taking pills. And not only that, she was upset because of the way WeTV had portrayed her on their upcoming trailer. So they had an upcoming trailer that Tamar was not satisfied with, allegedly. And she was upset during the day, and she threatened suicide. And apparently that's what led up to the events on Sunday. That's that part. So that was David's take. He said that he found her unresponsive and he was calling 911. Now, for me, if you haven't already heard that 911 tape, for me, it was very weird. The 911 tape was very, very weird. David came off as really calm, but I'm not going to judge him for that because I know shock can cause you to kind of react strangely in certain situations. But he came off as very calm. But not only the calmness didn't really get me. What got me was the fact that he was calling 911, and it wasn't like he was asking, how do I revive her? What do I do? He literally was like, oh man, this is really bad. The network. Like, he began to talk about the network and what caused her to be upset. And he was like, all for this, all for this. And, you know, I like a good conspiracy. I like a good, you know, take the conversation further thought and everything else. And I'm like, you know, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, this better not be a publicity stunt. And I don't think so. I don't think Tamar was. Now, here's the thing. Tamar is a drama queen, but I just really don't think she would go this far in the drama queendom. I just really don't. Now, some people beg to differ. Some people like, this is right up. I used the Born This Way foundation, and now I'm going on with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Stick foundation in the spots where I did not put the Born This Way. Now, so that's what was weird for me, because it's like, here you are, you found your fiance, and the last thing I think, I'd be trying to revive him, but also I'd be like fussing at the network, but not necessarily focusing on it. He was very calm. You have to listen to it. If you haven't already, I'm not going to play it here, but it was just very weird to me how calm he was, but also what he was talking about. Not once did he say, what do I do to revive her? He did say, hurry up, make sure you guys get here, hurry. You know, he did say that, but that was pretty much it. Everything else was talking about WeTV. And so that leads me to the next part of the conversation, which was, okay, later on in the day or the next day, something like that, it came out that Tamar sent a letter to WeTV. And allegedly the letter read, basically she was a slave to WeTV. She didn't like the way she was being portrayed. She's worked so hard or trying to not portray that narrative. She blamed them for exposing a secret that she didn't yet want to be exposed. And that happened in previous seasons. And so she continued to film in subsequent seasons. So that brings me to my next part of the conversation. She writes a letter to WeTV, then she goes and she attempts to commit suicide. My question, the reason why I'm filming, the question at hand for me is, has Tamar, do people place their trust, their peace, let's just say their peace, in things that are frivolous, things that they shouldn't? So for an example, if all these things that Tamar is saying is true, she didn't like the way they portrayed her in previous episodes and in previous seasons, and they exposed things that were very harmful and very hurtful for her, why then would she continue to film and to re-up contracts for this company? If it's a company that you do not trust, but yet they're paying you very well, what are you doing? So that is my question that I have towards the situation. I'm not blaming her at all, but I want to, just kind of highlight the fact that perhaps we are placing our comfort, our peace into things, we're sacrificing it, And so I ran across this Facebook post, and it reminded me of this situation, and it kind of brings the conversation to where we want it to be, because I feel like if WeTV has caused her that much trauma for over the past couple of years, why is she still with that company? Why did she continue? Because not only did she film with her siblings, she also did a spinoff. So I don't understand why you're doing that. So here's the first one. Never put the key to your happiness in someone else's pocket. And I feel like that is what happened. That happens a lot in Hollywood. And as you know, along with the conversation with Tamar, there was a situation with Nick Cannon. Same exact thing. Nick Cannon decided to have a show, and he had some people on there making controversial statements. He ended up agreeing and saying his own controversial statements. He ended up getting let go from some very major jobs that he had. And then, it's, I'm ready to leave this planet and I'm done with you guys. And, why are the Black community going against me? Again, yes, let's say all those things happened. He feels like the Black community has turned against him and everything else. But then his reaction is what I have a problem with, to the point where you're ready to commit suicide, leave this earth over people and their responses to what you were going through. Where are we placing our happiness? Are you placing your happiness in likes and shares and views? That's absolutely crazy. And I think it's irresponsible of Nick, and I think it's irresponsible of Tamar. And I don't want to even, I don't always want to say so-and-so has a mental health, because I'm going to talk about Mr. Mental Health too. I have a very unpopular opinion about Mr. Kanye. A lot of people are, their quest is Hollywood. Their quest is to be Insta famous and this famous and that famous. But are you forgetting who you are in all of this? Are you forgetting that you are still a human being? Are you forgetting that you do make mistakes? Are you forgetting that in all that success and all that money and all of those things, you should continue to place your peace where it matters, not in these things, not in people that you don't even know. Like, how is it that people and their opinions and WeTV and all this can cause someone to be to the point where they don't want to, they're willing to leave their children and leave this earth? That is something that should be the bigger conversation. Not, oh, big bad WeTV, not big bad old Black people that are making Nick Cannon feel bad about himself. No, the bigger conversation is, where are they placing their peace? If where's the key to their happiness? Is the key to their happiness, all the kudos and, oh, you're the best and all, that conversation? I'd like to submit that I hope it is, but I don't think so. I don't think it is. So what I'm doing, I don't do a major brow situation. I just literally am going over my brows with a little bit of the Anastasia by Beverly Hills pomade, very lightly. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply some eyeshadow base. I'm not even sure if I'm going to be doing a full eye. So that was the first Facebook post that reminded me of the situation. And then the next one, as I was scrolling, I came across this one and I was like, you know what? I need to do a video. Anything that costs you your piece is too expensive. Let it go. That is my question for Tamar, especially Tamar. If you're telling me that WeTV has caused you this much pain from when they aired a situation with you and whoever else, and you know, they made you out to be a bad guy before and all this other stuff. Is it worth it? Is the money worth it? And so what I'm doing is I'm applying some lid primer. And there are some days where I'll just blend this in and keep going with just this on my lid. Well, not like this, but I'll show you. I might do that today. So if it costs you your piece, why don't you let it go? Should you let it go? Or does the money really outweigh your piece? I'm here to submit, for me, no. No amount of money is worth my piece. And my piece is very, very important to me. If you're the type of person like me, leave a comment down below where you're like, you know what? I protect my piece at all costs. And I really, really do. It's just my temperament. Like I just don't have time for it. I don't have time for it. And here's the thing. There's no amount of money that's worth your piece. Because ultimately, things that rob you of your peace can rob you of your life. And that's pretty much what we've seen in these situations with Tamar, with Kanye, with Nick Cannon. So if this isn't anything new, WeTV has, you know, according to her, they've done it multiple times. Why haven't you let it go? If quarantine hasn't taught us anything, it should have taught us that things, if you're the type that gets moved by things, honestly, none of that crap matters now. None of it matters. All your stuff. And I think that's also part of what's happening. When you look in Hollywood, I think some of the stars are handling this quarantine, you know, lack of filming, Hollywood, you know, being on quote unquote a lockdown, however you want to call it. I think some of them are handling it very well. I think some stars are beginning to reinvent themselves. I think some stars are, you know, are living so fat that they could just sit back and chill and wait for this to kind of blow over. I feel like some stars are absolutely, like I said, reinventing themselves and finding their ways. And then I think that there's some people that really just don't know what to do with themselves. And so that's when you have this situation where you have some stars that are just kind of like wilding out, you know. And unfortunately, this is not necessarily the situation with Tamar, because I feel like her situation was different. Her show was coming out. She saw the trailer, and according to reports from her boyfriend, as well as what she was saying in the letter, she kind of lost it based on how the trailer portrayed her. This is just my sidebar. This is just me, in my opinion. But I don't understand how can I say this? I don't understand how you can give production the footage and then get mad when they show you in that light. I'll say it that way. That's a respectable way to say it. They can't edit you having a fit about something unless they literally are editing you having a fit about something and putting it not in context. You know, this is a good time outside looking in. I think it's a good time for Tamar to just kind of look at her branding, look at seriously what she's putting out there, because I'm not sure that WeTV was completely out of pocket as far as how they edited her and everything else. We all seen Tamar in action, you know, but does that mean that she should be misrepresented? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't think she should be misrepresented, but I'm just saying, you know, make sure you're not giving WeTV, giving the people that you're demonizing. Same thing with Nick Cannon. Nick said those things. You said those things. Here's the thing. If he didn't want to be a part of that controversy, he should have just let his guests say whatever he wanted to say, agree, disagree, or whatever. If you have somebody that's saying something controversial on your platform, that's them saying that. That's not necessarily you saying it. He could have put out a disclaimer. Even if he agreed, he could have just sat silently. Nick decided to jump in that conversation, and it backfired on him. And that's just the bottom line. It has nothing to do with Black people turning against them. You know, here's the thing. If he really was apologetic, so I have my Morphe I have my Morphe Fierce by Nature palette that I'm going to just put probably 1 to 2 colors on there because, again, like I said, this is just a get ready with me. Quick doing my base with that color. And it looks more orange than it actually is. It's more so a brown. So the second color is it's really a beige. It's comes off as a white, but it's really beige. Look at the palette, get the palette, you'll see what I'm talking about. And I'm just putting that in my brow bone. The next thing I'm going to do is I absolutely love this mascara. It's one of my favorite. I have more expensive brand like this, Better Than Sex one. I have, this is the waterproof, but I'm sorry, this is the not waterproof, and I have the waterproof over there. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to use the NYX On The Rise mascara. I feel like it's a good comparable mascara that's comparable to other mascaras that have the fibers in it. And I like this one. I absolutely like this one. So that's my take. Like, I think it's going to be interesting to see what Tamar is going to say when she comes back, how she's going to handle it, because I feel like if she was that fragile to the point where the way she's being portrayed causes her to commit suicide, I don't know how she's going to handle the fact that people now know publicly that she attempted to commit suicide. But not only that, this was not her first time attempting that. So I hope, number one, that she gets the help that she needs. That's number one. I hope she also gets a clear perspective of what's important in this life. And on all facts, WeTV is not worth losing your life over. I'm sorry. It's just not. Now, what I'm going to do before I go in and add some contour, highlight. So I have my Fenty Beauty, and I really literally use my cap because this setting powder is very messy. It's annoyingly messy. So I'm going to wet my beauty blender. I will show you how messy it is. It just gets everywhere. It's so annoying. I love Fenty products, but I think that that's the only thing about this setting powder that works my nerves. So what you're going to do is the areas where you put the concealer, that's where you're going to put the setting powder. So I hope that she gets the help that she needs. And I always tell myself, not to use a lot, but I use a lot all the time. I'm going to tell you not to use a lot, but hope she gets the help that she needs. But again, I hope that she sees that leaving this earth over WeTV, leaving her child, leaving her family is not the move. I don't want to reduce it just to WeTV. I venture to say that there's other stuff going on, We just never know. You never know. And that's the biggest thing about a lot of this. I'm so grateful that I'm not the type where I'm impressed in a sense about Hollywood and stars to the point where I think I want to live their life. Like, I've seen enough about Hollywood. I've lived long enough to see about Hollywood, to see some of the stories that come out of Hollywood, to say that is not the life to be envying, in the sense of that everyone that's in Hollywood isn't happy. And they have all this money. They have all this opportunity. A lot of people that I spoke to, I'd get on the phone and we talking and I'd ask, hey, what about Tamar? And the first thing people say is, what? Why? That's not to say that people with money can't be sad, but at the same time, we have this idea in America that money makes you happy. And the news that comes out of Hollywood lets us know really, really quickly that, listen, ain't no amount of money is going to make you happy. You have to find your peace. And for me, I didn't blend that very well. I saw it earlier. All right. There we go. Blend, blend, blend. No amount of money, no amount of contract, no amount of filming, no amount of Hollywood reality TV is worth your peace. That's on everything. It's just not worth your peace. Like, to literally be, when you really think about it, if what she's saying is true, if it's on the surface, that's what it was. It was nothing else. It wasn't, the relationship with her sisters. It wasn't relationship with the boyfriend that caused her to lose it in that moment. Just think about it. She literally could be dead. So what's the solution here? For me, a lot of times, I'm telling you, if I had the money that some of these people have, I don't understand why they don't create their own platforms to be in control of the narrative, to be in control of what's being put out. You know, a lot of times there's not a lot of positivity that's being put out, but you know, collectively, you can come together with 6, 7 other people and create something that's beautiful, something that's positive, something that you feel like is more representation, more representative of who you are as a person. Wonder, you know, the same thing with the NFL. You know, a lot of people, not just Black people, but there's a lot of rich people in Hollywood that really have a problem with the NFL, that have billions of dollars, that have millions of dollars. And my thing is, well, I can't do it because I don't have the money, but y'all have the money. Go in together. Liquid, I do not use liquid. This is sort of a gel pencil, more a darker brown right here. There we go. If you don't like the way you're being portrayed, you know, we got to be more. There's got to be more to us. There's got to be more to being in Hollywood than collecting Birkin bags and a whole bunch of other stuff that just really, 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 really obviously can't fulfill your piece. I have a natural contour on my cheeks, but I do like to contour that area, and that's what I'm doing here. So the bottom line is we really should make sure that regardless of what we're in, whatever it is that you're doing in life, just making sure that you aren't placing that thing above your mental health. Question, you know, is it worth it? What are we placing our keys to happiness? And then the other thing is, if it's costing your peace, you probably should let it go. And that's my only thing with Tamar, not to blame her in any regard. Logan could literally be momless right now. It's absolutely not worth it. WeTV just isn't worth it. You know, it just isn't worth it. Next, I'm going to use some setting spray to complete this very basic look. You know what? Let's give her some highlight. So I feel like we're giving off a little pink nude undertone. So I think I'm gonna go with my Wattabrat Killawatt from Fenty Beauty. It's a pink-based highlighter, which I love, love, love. I don't use it often because, again, a lot of her products they're just very messy. And so once I put this on, I know glitter's gonna be everywhere. So if you haven't already, make sure that you check out some of my other Get Ready With Me videos. Some of them go into a little bit more depth. Some of them add a little colors. Okay, so that's that. That's my, oh, I forgot to put my setting spray. Okay, overkill on the setting spray, probably. If I put too much, which I don't think there's ever too much, but this setting spray gives off a really dewy finish, which I love in certain areas. I like to be dewy in certain areas. And so the areas that I don't necessarily want to be doing, I will just use a brush to just kind of contain some of that moisture. Anyway, with that being said, that's the conversation that I wanted to have as you got ready with me. Thank you for sticking along. If you followed along with this look, it was a very simple look. As a matter of fact, I don't even think, yeah, I did tell you which palette I used, and I will link them down below, which palette I use, what products I use. So with that being said, ultimately, I wish Nick Cannon, I wish Tamar very well, but I wanted to, like I said, let the situation kind of unfold before I give my opinion on it. But also, I think universally, regardless of what's going on with whom and what situation, regardless of what the outcome is going to be for Tamar, I hope that we can look and, as I said, make sure that we're not placing our happiness in things that are frivolous. The cars, the money, the people, the trips, and all those things are fluid, they are frivolous, they are fickle, and they can change. So if you're the type that you get your likes, your kicks from likes and subscribers and different things like that, you're setting yourself up. You're absolutely setting yourself up, because those things should not be the motivating factor for you to just really find happiness in life, because you'll find yourself in a situation like Tamar and countless other people where you think, oh my goodness, they had so much going for themselves. How could they end up doing that to themselves? It's because 9 times out of 10, yes, there's mental illness there, but also 9 times out of 10, where did they place their happiness? Where did they place their peace? And just as the other meme suggested, you know, if there's something that robs you of your peace, which allegedly, according to Tamar, this is not the first time that WeTV portrayed her in a light that was not favorable as far as she was concerned, but she turned around and renewed contracts and continued to film with them. So I question that as far as as far as what I'm saying and what I'm focused on. So with that being said, make sure you leave a comment down below. Let me know what you feel about the commentary. Let me know if you agree, if you're the type where, you know what, no, I like the likes, I like the comments, and I like all of that, and I'm going to be famous and I'll handle it. If you feel that way, I'm just, like I said, I've lived on the earth long enough to know that I've seen some crazy things happen to some very solid people because they lost it, and I think that's what we're seeing unfold, before our eyes. So with that being said, always thanks for watching. Bye-bye.